This just different way of producing this with you having this share screen, which is something you came up with, which I love, because it's your presentation. And this is actually I interrupted. I'm sorry. Go on.
No,
The money. Listen, that's why people. I don't trade. I don't have stock. I talked to a Nenner here this past week, and he says I don't have stock because people think, oh, he's just trading. He does not have stock. I don't have stock. I have no stock. I have no securities. I have no stock. I don't have any deals. I don't have any gold. I've been offered all kinds of stuff, and I said I can't do it. I can't do it. I got to disclose to people that so. But you don't have any stock. You don't have any gold mines. You don't have any securities. You don't have any short positions. You don't trade. You're not a trader,
nope,
right? You
nope,
you
nope.
analyze. You have your gold turn dates, your Bitcoin turn dates. We'll talk about that. I want to talk about Bitcoin. Why is it so bad? What's happening
Right
with
now,
Bitcoin?
oh, because remember, Bitcoin, before, see, if Bitcoin goes up in value, just like if silver and gold went up in value to like crazy prices, right? Then the dollar's worth nothing. See, it's all about perception. It's all about the two words, Greg, we've talked about so many times, faith and confidence, okay? Faith and confidence are what give the dollar value because it's not backed by gold and silver, okay? So faith and confidence, meaning that a third party, faith and confidence is really a third party. So there's a middleman between you and your money, or you and everything, you and your marriage, the government, the state is between you and your marriage. There's a middleman. Satan's always intervening. He's a middleman, okay? So that's how they do it all with a third party, a middleman. And so the middleman is how they intervene, and that's why like you have custodians of your accounts, right? You can't directly hold, the bank holds your money. If you want to go send a wire, who are you sending it to? What's it for, right? Because the bank's the middleman. There's always an intermediary between you and your funds, and that's how they control you, okay? And so anybody who's involved in the stock system, right? When Babylon falls, right, the intermediaries are going to fall, and next thing you know, you're going to find out you might be worth a lot of money on paper because maybe you're short the markets, right? But you won't be able to get out. Why? Because they won't let you. The whole system breaks. So the system the system that works today is going to break. The system is going to break.
Jim Rickards was on talking about that, saying, back in 2008, everybody cashed out one of their money, and that froze the system up, and so they stopped that. So if it becomes a national security issue, oh yeah, you made those trades, it's in your money market account, but you can't have it, right?
It's Babylon. Yeah, it's you've tied your finances up in Babylon. So why do I refuse? Why would I not? Why would I want to hold anything in Babylon? Because I know Babylon, the great. The great, that's written in Revelation, is about to fall. So we're going to see historic events.
Now later on, Satan does come back, I think, and does have his joyride for a very short time.
Yes.
I think it says in Revelation they only get it for an hour. I don't know what that means in God's world, but an hour. So we know how this ends, and it ends bad for them. But go ahead. Back to this thing happening in 24 hours. So you think the month of September is pivotal?
Absolutely. So let's talk about that. So let's talk about how we can come up to some of these conclusions and how I do it, okay? I want people to understand how I do it. I get some dreams sometimes. God shows me things, and more importantly, I'll take scriptures, overlay those, because if you can take scripture and overlay it on present day, wow! And then imagine taking some of the prophets and overlay that as well too. It's just become so powerful. It's truly incredible. So again,
one thing I wanted to bring up too about the Babylon system. If you come back with me on screen, there are lawsuits about big tech's involvement with the government and censorship and all of that. That's all part of the Babylon system about how they're restricting information. I think they just came out in Facebook where they're not going to have died suddenly anymore, that hashtag, which is all. Then you also predicted there'd be big deaths in 2022. And what happened? All these awful people just keeling over dead.
But we haven't seen it yet. Whoa, wait till you see what the angel of death shows up. We haven't even seen it because we remember that's the third seal. We're going to talk about that. But third seal is financial rebalancing, which we're about to see. But it's on a black horse, is death. Oh boy, we haven't seen death yet. It's coming, and it's going to be here before
Wow.
year end. It's all about to be unleashed on this earth, and we're days now away from this thing going down. So I'm going to show you how I know we're days away from this thing, Greg. On top of the cycle that we've talked about, knowing in September, I'll give you a couple cycles. The next cycle I want to show you is this one right here, because this is really incredible how God, this is, again, God showed me how to do some of these timelines. It's kind of cool. So you got Daniel's timeline right here, 1,260 days. It's 3.5 years. Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay, next slide. Okay, so we've had this on your show before. So Trump gets elected November 8th, 2016, right here on the left in the yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Trump wins the election. 1,260 days later, oil went to zero, Greg.
That's
you
you.
and I
You
were
predicted
on the phone
April
watching
21st.
this together. We were talking as this was happening. Go ahead, Greg.
You said it was April. Something happens on April 21st. It closed on the 20th of April at zero, and they had this contango and this weird stuff. Never happened before. So here
Ever.
on that. So basically, as midnight turned over, oil was zero. You couldn't give it. You didn't have the containers in it were worth more than oil because of this weird crap that went on.
Greg, we were not off by that calculation. Was
By
not
the
off
di-
by more than it wasn't off by more than 24 hours.
I know.
Are you kidding me? It nailed it to the precise day.
Yeah. Go
So
ahead.
So Greg, what God showed me, he goes, that was a marker. That was a marker in time.
Let's go fast forward to 1,260 more days.
No, forget that. 888 days, Greg. 888 days. What is that? So in the original Greek language from which the New Testament was written, the name Jesus has a numeric value of 888.
Oh boy.
Do you realize that if you go from the oil going to zero, April 20th, you add 888 days, Greg, you get September 25, Rosh Hashanah.
Wow.
Greg, this isn't a coincidence. This is God's mathematical perfection by design.
Yeah.
What
There
is
a God.
Rosh Hashanah? It's the first day of the year. It's the day of creation. That was a day of creation. It was day one of creation. It was the birth of Jesus. It was the birth of Noah. It was the first day Noah saw dry land, the birth of a new world. It was the birth of Abraham, the birth of Jacob. Joseph. This is the day Joseph went from the pits to the palace.
Wow.
It's the beginning of it's the new birth, it's a new era.
Wow.
September 25, the world Greg, the world we know will change on or about this September 25th. Thus, we're going to have a historic crash, I believe, going right into this date. It just is mind-blowing. The other thing, the other calculation, I've shown this before, I initially thought was using God's calendar, God's timeline September. But no, if you use, this is crazy, Greg, if you use, I did this morning actually, if you use childbirth, okay, full term is 38 weeks. You can calculate this yourself. You know, dateandtimecalculator.com. From childbirth, 38 weeks is full term. Greg, this is crazy, okay? Because January 1, if that's day one, our calendar, 38 weeks to the exact day is September 24th, Greg.
The last day of the Jubilee.
The last day of the Jubilee. I've shown you this on your timeline before. This is vortex math. What Nikola Tesla, not Elon Musk, no, Nikola Tesla, who discovered free energy. And this is the cycle he used. It was a 369 cycle. There's links your viewers can watch and click here. Incredible math calculation.
This will be at the end
How
of the
this works.
after the interview section. This actual presentation.
This is crazy, Greg. Viewers got to check this out. March of 2020. So, and remember, everything rolls around the number 24. 24. Okay, so let's talk about August 24th, 9 days after Kabul fell. Russia and Saudi Arabia signed a military agreement.
Yeah.
Greg, on October 24th, Evergrande bonds failed to make a payment. On February 24th, check this out, Greg, war breaks out between Russia and Ukraine on February 24th. On March 24th, Putin demands payment for gas and oil in the ruble. On April 24th, Russia was hit by two huge oil explosions. They were attacked on April 24th. And now this is the good one. This is Haggai 1. On June 24th, Roe v. Wade was overturned. And now we got September 24th, birth of a new era. 38 weeks to the precise day. Something crazy, biblical, mind-blowing, just like whatever. It's just going to be something so incredible that we don't even understand what's about to happen this month here in September. So all I'm saying is that when you read Isaiah, and I want to read this again because this relates to this year, because Christ stopped on a comma. He didn't read the last sentence because it wasn't time. But Isaiah 61 is reference to this year. And the Spirit of the Lord is upon me because he has anointed me to bring the good news to the poor. He has sent me to comfort the brokenhearted and to proclaim that the captives will be released and the prisoners will be freed, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor. That's Leviticus, the 50th year. And this is what he did not read in the temple. And the day of vengeance of our God. Again, back to 24 hours, Greg. This is what's happening. We're at that 24-hour moment in time.
Wow, that's big. Let's go into next year. What do you think we'll see in the next year? I mean, things are going to get pretty shaky. We have all this still going on in Europe. Is a mess. I don't know. They must be getting some bad ganja because they think that they can cap the price of natural gas that Russia has cut off from them. We're talking about some big happenings happening in Europe, and I can't see how the banks are doing great in Europe. I can't see how that's happening. So what's going on with the money in the banks? If you could talk a little about what you think is coming down in Europe. Is that going to be a big key place too?
Well, there is a prophecy from the 70s, I believe. I forget the gentleman's name, but he basically prophesied that the collapse will begin in Europe and then within 24 hours make its way into the United States. So the world financial system is going to shake. So do not be surprised that in this month of September, you're going to see the European banking system shake like you've never seen before. And then it's going to manifest and it's going to work its way right around as the sun is rising all around the world. And we're going to see, so the financial system we know breaks in Europe and then makes its way to the United States. And I believe this all goes down forget even next year, Greg, because next year, it's everything that we know is like 180 degrees different. So we'll get to next year in a few minutes from now, but next year is just insanely different because everything is about to flip on its head this year, including, don't be surprised that we see manifestation